You've probably had days where everything seems to go wrong. You wake up late, you get bad news, someone disrespects you, and by the end of the day, you feel like the world is against you. We've all been there, trapped in negative thoughts, convinced that life is unfair. But what if I told you that the problem isn't your circumstances, it's your perception of them? What if being a positive thinker isn't about pretending everything is good, but learning how to stay calm, wise, and grounded when things go bad? If you're someone who wants to think with strength instead of fear, to respond instead of react, then this message is for you. Before we continue, take a moment to like this video and subscribe, because here we train the mind to stay unshakable no matter what happens. Number 1. Positive thinking begins with acceptance. The first foundation of positive thinking is acceptance. Not denial, not avoidance. Pure acceptance of reality as it is. Stoics believe that peace begins the moment you stop fighting against what's already happened. When you resist reality, you multiply your suffering. You suffer once from the event itself, and again from your refusal to accept it. Acceptance doesn't mean you approve of what happened. It simply means you acknowledge it, and you stop wasting energy trying to rewrite what's already written. When someone betrays you, when life changes unexpectedly, or when things fall apart, acceptance allows you to move from reaction to reflection. It gives you power. Think about this. When you spill water, complaining doesn't dry the floor. You either clean it up or keep slipping on it. The same applies to life. Positive thinkers understand that complaining keeps you stuck in the problem, while acceptance moves you toward solutions. This mindset helps you conserve your mental energy. You stop wishing for things to be easier and start wishing for the strength to handle them. That's what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." True positivity isn't found in pretending life is beautiful. It's found in facing reality with calmness and courage. Acceptance isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Because when you stop resisting what is, you finally free yourself to create what can be. Number 2, you choose what to focus on. Your mind is a battlefield, a constant stream of thoughts, emotions, and judgments. You can't control every thought that enters, but you can control what you entertain. The Stoics taught that your focus determines your fate. What you water in your mind grows, and what you neglect dies. If you constantly focus on what's wrong, life will always feel dark. You'll see problems everywhere, even when things are fine. But if you choose to focus on what's right, the lessons, the growth, the small victories, your mind begins to shape a world that supports your peace. The external world doesn't change, but your experience of it does. Positive thinkers aren't blind to problems. They simply choose not to be consumed by them. When something painful happens, they ask, "What can I learn from this?" rather than "Why me?" When plans fail, they shift their focus toward what they can improve, not what they can't control. This kind of focus creates resilience. Because what you repeatedly think becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes how you live. A negative mind will find fault in every blessing. A positive mind will find purpose in every pain. So ask yourself daily, what am I focusing on right now? Is it something I can change, or something I'm choosing to suffer over? The moment you take control of your focus, you take control of your life. Because your focus is the lens through which reality becomes bearable or unbearable. Number 3, detachment is strength. One of the greatest signs of a positive thinker is emotional detachment. It's the ability to stay calm and centered even when things don't go your way. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop depending. You stop relying on outcomes, people, or events for your peace. When you attach your happiness to external things, you make your emotions hostage to fortune. If things go right, you feel good. If they go wrong, you collapse. But when your happiness comes from within, from your character, your discipline, your gratitude, nothing outside you has the power to destroy your peace. The Stoics practiced this mindset every day. They reminded themselves that everything external is temporary. Health, wealth, relationships, even life itself. When you accept impermanence, you stop clinging. You stop fearing loss. You begin to appreciate the present moment more deeply. Detachment is what allows you to love without obsession, to work without desperation, and to dream without fear of failure. It's not coldness, it's inner freedom. It's knowing that even if things fall apart, you won't. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Detachment is living by that truth. It's understanding that your peace is not at the mercy of the world. It's the reward of a disciplined mind that chooses calmness over chaos every single day. Number 4, gratitude transforms your vision. Gratitude is not an emotion. It's a mental practice that shapes how you see everything. The Stoics saw gratitude as a tool to rewire the mind toward peace. They didn't wait for life to be perfect before being thankful. They practiced thankfulness as a daily discipline. A positive thinker doesn't need ideal conditions to feel grateful. They find meaning even in difficulty. They wake up thankful for breath, for strength, for another chance to grow. They understand that life itself is a gift, and that's enough reason to smile even when the road is hard. When you practice gratitude, you train your mind to notice what's present instead of what's missing. Suddenly, the ordinary becomes sacred. You appreciate the small joys, a quiet morning, a kind word, the sound of rain. Gratitude changes your emotional state because it reminds you of what still remains when everything else fades. A Stoic sees gratitude not as blind optimism, but as perspective. It's the understanding that life owes you nothing, and yet you have everything you truly need. That mindset frees you from comparison, envy, and entitlement. Each day, try writing down 3 simple things you're grateful for. Not material things, but experiences or lessons. Over time, this habit reshapes how your mind perceives life. Gratitude doesn't make your problems disappear. It gives you the strength to face them with grace. Number 5, mastering inner dialogue. Your thoughts are conversations with yourself, and they define your reality. Positive thinking isn't about lying to yourself. It's about speaking to yourself with strength and wisdom. The Stoics constantly examined their inner dialogue because they understood that a chaotic mind creates a chaotic life. Notice how you talk to yourself when things go wrong. Do you call yourself weak, unlucky, or incapable? Or do you remind yourself that you've survived worse, that you're capable, that you can endure? The words you repeat internally build the foundation of your mindset. A positive thinker speaks truth, not pity. They acknowledge pain, but refuse to be consumed by it. They say, "This hurts, but it will pass. I've learned from this." That's not arrogance, that's emotional maturity. You can't always control what happens, but you can always control the story you tell yourself about it. The Stoic Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your inner voice determines that reaction. If it's calm, you stay centered. If it's fearful, you lose control. Your mind is the compass. Train it to guide you toward reason, not panic. Positive thinking, therefore, is the art of mastering your dialogue. Every time you replace self-doubt with self-discipline, every time you choose reason over emotion, you're strengthening your inner fortress. And that's the true power of Stoicism. Turning your mind into your greatest ally instead of your worst enemy. Number 6, the discipline of the mind. To be a positive thinker is to be a disciplined thinker. Discipline isn't just about waking up early or working hard. It's about controlling your thoughts before they control you. A disciplined mind doesn't wander into negativity. It brings itself back to clarity. It refuses to be ruled by moods, impulses, or fears. This is what Stoicism teaches, that a free person is one who masters his own mind. Most people let their thoughts dictate their emotions. If something bad happens, they sink. If something good happens, they rise. But the disciplined mind stays steady through both. It doesn't allow temporary moments to define its permanent peace. It observes the storm, but doesn't become the storm. That's the difference between mental weakness and mental power. Every day, your mind will try to drag you toward negativity, self-doubt, irritation, envy, anxiety. Discipline means noticing those thoughts without obeying them. You pause, breathe, and respond with reason. It's the same muscle you build at the gym. Repetition creates strength. The more often you redirect your thinking, the stronger your mental discipline becomes. Discipline is also refusing to feed distractions that drain your energy. You can't expect to think clearly when your mind is flooded with chaos. Endless scrolling, toxic news, meaningless arguments. A positive thinker protects his mind like a temple. He knows that what enters his thoughts eventually shapes his emotions. So if you want to stay positive, build the discipline to guard your focus. Train your mind to return to what is useful, noble, and true. It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them. The disciplined mind doesn't avoid pain. It transforms it into wisdom. Number 7, turning pain into growth. Pain is life's most misunderstood teacher. Most people run from it, curse it, or let it destroy them. But the Stoic positive thinker sees pain as a tool, not an enemy. They know that without pain, there's no strength. Without discomfort, there's no progress. Without suffering, there's no depth. Every hardship you survived has taught you something about yourself, something you couldn't have learned any other way. Pain strips away illusions. It forces you to see what really matters. It tests your patience, exposes your weaknesses, and strengthens your soul. Positive thinking isn't the absence of pain. It's the ability to find purpose inside it. The Stoics would practice a form of mental preparation called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They imagined difficulties before they happened, so when they came, they weren't surprised. That's not negativity, that's strength. When you expect obstacles, you stop being shocked by them. You become prepared for them. Pain has two paths, destruction or transformation. One breaks you, the other builds you. The difference lies in your perception. When something bad happens, ask yourself, how can this shape me for the better? That single question turns pain into growth. It gives meaning to the suffering and helps you move forward instead of staying broken. When you embrace pain as part of the process, you become untouchable. Because now, even suffering serves you. Even loss becomes wisdom. And in that state, life can no longer defeat you, because you've turned every wound into a lesson. Number 8, emotional control creates power. A positive thinker doesn't let emotions run their life. They run their emotions. This doesn't mean they suppress how they feel. It means they rule it with wisdom. Emotions are powerful servants, but terrible masters. The Stoic knows that if anger, fear, or sadness lead the way, reason disappears. Think about how many poor decisions come from emotional reactions. Saying words you can't take back, quitting too early, or hurting someone because you couldn't stay calm. The mind that can control emotion can control any situation. That's why Stoics train themselves to pause before reacting. They practice silence, reflection, and patience. To think positively under emotional pressure takes practice. It starts with awareness, noticing the emotion without judging it. I feel anger. I feel sadness. You name it, you don't become it. Then you step back and choose your response instead of reacting blindly. That single pause can change your entire life. Emotional control also means not letting the moods of others dictate your peace. You can't always stop people from being negative, but you can refuse to join them. Protect your calmness like a warrior defends a shield. Not because you're cold, but because you understand how fragile peace is when given away too easily. The mind that controls emotion is unbreakable. You can insult it, test it, or disappoint it, but it remains centered. Because power doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from controlling yourself. The positive thinker doesn't seek a calm world. He builds a calm mind within a chaotic one. Being a positive thinker isn't about smiling through pain or ignoring reality. It's about transforming your perception through discipline, acceptance, gratitude, and purpose. It's about mastering your mind so deeply that no external chaos can shake your inner peace. A true Stoic doesn't hope for an easy life. They hope for the strength to handle a difficult one with grace. That's what makes you a positive thinker. You don't escape life. You embrace it fully, calmly, and wisely.